Glory be to God. Welcome to D Weaver Art here on YouTube, the channel for art lovers who love impressionistic style and realistic style portraits. I want to share with you guys a painting that I did this week, and I want to say to everyone, happy Thanksgiving. What is Impressionism? Well, my impression of what Impressionism is, it's very beautiful. It's a very beautiful style of painting that was established back in the 1800s, the late 1800s, around 1860s to close to the turn of the century. And so Impressionism is basically where the artists, they would take their paints outside and basically paint in plein air, and they will capture a moment or an event or the light. Mainly is they focused on the light. Impressionism is really a lot about the light. I'm not outdoors. I'm not painting this on the scene. I'm actually painting from a photo, but I am putting an impressionistic style to it. And that's what I want to share with you guys in the process of me making this painting. Now, you guys that are artists, you guys, hopefully, if you've been into art for a long time and you went to school, you know what Impressionism is. But for many of you guys that are watching this channel for the first time, or maybe you've been watching my channel a lot and you've heard me say off and on, not a lot, but off and on, every now and then, impressionistic style. Well, Impressionism, the impressionistic style, they're the same thing. And it's basically an impression of a scene or an impression of an object or an impression of something. And that's what this is all about. This video is all about the Impressionism style portrait painting. And that's what I'm going to show you guys. So when I heard and saw what the style of painting it was, I was very intrigued. I was I would say I was very impressed with the looseness of the brush strokes and also the colors. These are some major characteristics that really have made an impression or put an impression on me that I want to be able to paint like that. I want to be able to paint loose and not tight. I am working with acrylics. I'm not working with oil. So there's a aspect or a technique in impression style painting called wet into wet or a la prima. Even though I'm working with acrylics, acrylics dry quick, but there are some things that you can use that will cause it to slow down. One being slow dry gel that I have right here behind me. This Liquitex slow dry gel helps to retard the dryness of the water-based acrylic. And basically, if you get a good acrylic paint, which I use, this is the type of paint I'll share with you guys. I use the Master's Touch, which is sold by Hobby Lobby. This acrylic paint is pretty thick. It's not a watery based paint. I use that. I mix my colors. I do not to say that it's wrong, nothing wrong. You do as you please as an artist. But this is my take on Impressionism. This is how I approach a portrait painting done in Impressionism, and that's the whole point of me sharing this video with you. The colors, the paint brush strokes are there on the canvas where you can see it, just where you just apply the paint and you lay the brush stroke down and you don't overdo it. You just leave it alone. You load the brush up, you put the paint onto the canvas, and you go forward from there. Let me first talk to you about the history of Impressionism. The history of Impressionism started back in the late 1800s or the late 19th century in a place called Paris, France. Now, France is known for their art, known for their cuisines, their food and architecture, known for the Eiffel Tower and so forth. Well, in Paris, France, there was an art society. A lot of the people that were a part of the art society, people who bought art, were upper echelon types of people, and they were artists that would paint and everything. Basically, they would paint in a neoclassical style. There was a group of artists, they had broke off from that, and they decided to have their own art exhibit. And so when some of the leaders and people saw it, they was not impressed by it. So when they, one of the people who judged one of the painters, and it happened to be the sunrise, I believe, sunset by Claude Monet. They said it was an impression of something, and it just stuck with the group, and that's where we get the term impressionism, or the impressionism movement in art history. So that's when it began. And so what I love about Impressionism, that's just a brief overview of it. What I love about Impressionism is the brushstrokes. What I love else about the Impressionism is the colors. Colors can be vivid, they can be strong. What I'm stuck on about Impressionism is the loose brushwork, where the edges are broken and the edges are loose, not broken completely. The forms are still intact. It's realism, but it's a more stylized realism versus classical or neoclassical style of realism, which is really tight. So I really like the painterly style of Impressionism. That's the whole point of me sharing with you in this video, and I love it so much I decided, hey, I'm gonna start dedicating my paintings to being more loose in presentation on this channel. And I want to thank you guys for watching. And once again, now I want to also share with you the materials that I use. So I use some phthalo blue for skin tone. And this is what I used to use before I started using pure black, or you went to the Zorn palette. Zorn palette, I highly recommend you, if you're gonna paint a portrait, paint in the Zorn palette. Now, people have their opinions about what they use. There's artists out there that are professional. They've been painting longer than, and have more knowledge and skill than I have. However, this is what I use. I use the Zorn palette, and the Zorn palette basically makes up a black, cadmium red, or some red. I use yellow ochre and titanium white. I use those colors. I use phthalo blue, which is almost an ultra blue, very beautiful color. I use that. I also use yellow ochre. I use titanium white. I used cadmium red. So those are the colors I use. And I'm using acrylic paints and not oil paint. So for you guys who really want to know what my brushes is, I'm using a Cataylist by Princeton brush, a Cataylist Princeton brush, acrylic. They're known for a good acrylic brush. You can get oil brushes too, but these are acrylic brushes, designed synthetic brushes for acrylics. I'm using that, and I will leave you with the link below for the material and where I got these brushes. I got a video where I talked about these brushes and stuff. You can look at that down in the description below. Also too, I'm using acrylic paints. I'm not using oils. I'm just using water-based acrylic paints, and I got my primary colors. It's basically a limited palette of primaries with a white to it. So a little bit about the person that I painted. Her name is Judy, and of course, as you know and see, she's wearing a red dress and a red hat. There's a story behind this painting. I got a chance to meet her daughter. Her daughter's named Karen. Karen, if you're out here watching, or if you're out there, I should say, or you're watching this video, thank you for sharing your story about your mother, Judy. Thank you. So I was just moved by the fact that she seemed very emotional. I thought she was crying, but she wasn't. She was just so passionate about her mom. So guys, you're out there watching this, and you can relate to this. I hope, if you are adopted and you have your new mom or your new dad, it don't have to be a mother. It could be your dad too, or both parents, but they're not your biological parents. Listen, I hope that they are doing everything in their power to love you and prove their love and show their love for you. And I hope everything is going well with that. But there are people that have had it rough when it comes to um, fosterhood and stuff like that, and that's something I can't even identify with that. But I am adopted. I'm not adopted by a physical blood person, but I am adopted by God the Father. You know, I was once afar off, but now I've been made close and drawn near by the blood of his son Jesus. And so my life is getting radically changed because of the cross of Christ. The background is somewhat strong too, but slightly tone and intensity down. But the red is a really strong color. And one thing about working with paints, red is a strong color, so you have to be very careful when mixing red into your paints. It can really desaturate a color big time and take over color. It's really I call it an aggressive color. It's very has a strong personality to it. I mean, not that it's a person or nothing, but just a play on words. But guys, tell me what your colors that you use when you paint portraits and stuff. I like to know. Please comment below down in the comment section. Drop that comment down. So I mean, just basically, and the thing is that when I first started on this, I started out with using a lot of water. A lot of water. The key to do this, a lot of people don't realize you can paint in almost like a la prima, but usually a la prima is associated with oil paints. But you can start out with a white canvas, primed canvas, and put colors down. I personally don't like doing it. I like to tone my colors down. So what I did, I took a cadmium red and white, mixed it together. But before I mixed the colors together to make a pink, I sprayed the back of my canvas, the front of my canvas a couple of times and got it really saturated to the point where it beat it up with water. And then I started adding the paint to it. I just added straight, mixed the paints as the red onto it, the white on it, mix it as I went. Just mixed it up. And so did that after I got that down. Instead of traditionally, most people would draw out or paint out the lines or the contour. I just painted the shapes. I was very loose with this. I mean, extremely loose with this to the point where it was abstract. You know, your brain put it together. Over time, you start putting it all together. You know, it's a human head. But at first, it was very different. And you guys, warning, not to be afraid to do this. But if you want to really break free and expand your creativity, I advise you to painting shapes. It really loosens you up and it's quick. If you can observe your subject really well and it's going to take practice, but the more you do, the better but just practice observing relationships of shapes. Squint your eyes. I did a lot of that. I advise you to squint your eyes to be able to see those forms of darks and lights and stuff like that. You get your darks down. When you squint your eyes, it's barely close your eyes. You kind of looking through your eyelashes. And so you see the basic dark shapes first. That's the portion of the portrait that you want to put down. And so, you know, it was just a very fun process as always. And I just hope that what I shared with you today has been a blessing to you. And listen, guys, it is the holiday, the first of the holidays, Thanksgiving. And you guys out there, Mom, I want to say hello to you. My mother-in-law, Annie, watching this video. God bless you. I love you. Look forward to spending Thanksgiving with you guys over there. And I'm so blessed and grateful to have my wife and my two sons, a job, my health and strength. I'm blessed and grateful to have my church family. I'm so blessed and grateful to be to have the opportunity to share with you guys and to share what I do as an artist. And I hope young artists that are out there watching this and you're new to this channel, I urge you to subscribe. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell so that by doing so, you receive instant alerts on new content and material. And with that being said, you guys be safe, enjoy your families, enjoy the food. And remember, let's take the time out to pray for those who are less fortunate. God bless you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.